Special Board of Trustees meeting. We'll start with roll call. The Trustee Westwell. Here. Trustee Briscoe.
Present.
Trustee Singer.
Here.
Trustee Clayton-Darvin.
Here.
And I'm Trustee Souders, and I'm here. Moving on, item C, agenda adoption. Special Board of Trustees meeting of November 27, 2018 is before us tonight. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Move to the vote. Any discussion?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, I just want to thank you for properly agendizing this to maintain transparency for the community. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll go to the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. That moves us to D, closed session. The public is invited to comment on identified items listed under closed session prior to adjournment to closed session. D1, go. Do we have any speakers?
Yes. They both are.
Okay. Clerk Clayton-Darvin. Clerk Clayton-Darvin, speakers. Okay. We have 2 speakers.
Okay.
All right, closed session. The public is invited to comment on the identified items listed under closed session prior to adjournment to closed session. D1, Government Code Section 54956.9, Conference of Legal Counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 of subdivision D of Government Code Section 54956.9, one case regarding Proposition 39 request from Sycamore Creek Community Charter School.
Can I just interrupt, President Souders? We do have an interpreter, so you're speaking kind of quickly, just
Sorry.
to let him catch up.
Okay, I'll pause. Give me a thumbs up. Do we have speakers on the closed session items?
Well, we have, I have to look at them, because this is H1, 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 here's a D1.
Okay.
H1, H1, D1, H, H, D, H. This has no signification. This does not. This is H. This is H. So we have 2 speakers that could potentially be D1. Yes. Okay. So we have 3, 6 for D1. So,
Okay.
yes.
You want to call them up?
Yes.
Alrighty.
The first 3 speakers are Jessica Moore, Rosalba Callejas, Sherry Medrano.
Jessica Moore, are you here still? If you guys could come to the mic, think along a little bit more quickly. Can you call the names again?
Jessica Moore, Rosalba Callejas, Sherry Medrano.
I'm a little nervous, but I wrote it up. It'll be easier. Hi, my name is Jessica Akalela Moore. I signed the intent to enroll document for Sycamore Creek Community Charter School Prop 39 application in the month of October. A few weeks ago, I received a phone call from the OVSD district phone number. When I answered, she asked me questions about a recent proposal that I had signed. She asked if I understood what I was signing, and I confirmed that I did. And that I was in full support of opening a Waldorf school. I even mentioned my early childhood education background, and that I studied the different learning styles, and that I did study about Waldorf education and its benefits. She had asked me how many times I had met with my friends before, my friends that I talked to about the proposal and then brought me the proposal to sign. She asked me how many times I met with them to talk about the proposal before I signed it. I felt bullied and that she was not taking my word for it when I stated I was in full support of this proposition. She asked me how I met my friends, and I explained to her how I met them, and then like I said, she asked me how many times I met with them before I decided to sign the proposal. So I did feel the pressure, even though I made a firm stance stating I was in full support of signing it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Rosalba?
Mi nombre es Rosalba Callejas.
Hi, my name is Rosalba Callejas.
Yo firmé para... a mí me dijeron que firmara una hoja para ayudar a colectar unas firmas para hacer una nueva escuela en el barrio junto a la escuela Oakview.
Well, I have been asked to find a paper in order to request for a new school in the neighborhood of Oakview.
Me dijeron que andaban juntando las firmas para ver si se llegaba a construir una nueva escuela y que si me interesaba mandar a mi niña ahí.
They told me they were gathering these signs in order to build a new school, and they asked me if I was interested in have my daughter attending that new school.
Pero después me hablan de la escuela Oakview diciéndome que esa escuela ya existía y que si ya había transferido a mi niña a la nueva escuela de algo así de Sycamore. Pero yo les dije que esa escuela no era posible que mi niña ya se fuera a transferir porque supuestamente apenas la iban a construir.
Well, but later I received a call from Oakview School, and they asked me if I transferred my daughter to this school that I believe it was Sycamore or something like that. But I told them that of course I didn't do that because that school was to be built. It wasn't already existing.
Yo estoy molesta porque a mí me engañaron pidiendo mi firma para decirme que iban a construir una nueva escuela, mas no para hacer el cambio de mi niña a esa escuela que ya existe.
Well, I'm really upset because I feel like I was tricked because they asked for my signature in order to build a new school, not to transfer my daughter to an existing school.
Y pues no sé ahora qué va a pasar con mi niña, si me la van a transferir o qué se va a hacer en ese caso que firmé 2 veces un papel. Uno fue en español, el otro fue en inglés, pero no me tomé el atrevimiento de leerlo porque decían que era una simple firma para construir una nueva escuela.
And I really don't know what is the situation right now with my daughter. I don't know if she was transferred or not to that school because I signed actually twice. One paper in English, one paper in Spanish, but I didn't take the time to read them because I understood that it was just like a request or petition to build a new school.
Y ahora quién de todos ustedes me va a dar una respuesta si es que alguien la tiene.
So actually I would like to have an answer. I don't know if any of you can answer this question to me about this situation. If you have an answer, of course.
Superintendent, do you want to take her question after the meeting?
Yes, I'd be happy to follow up. If we could have a phone number, and then we can absolutely call her and speak to
I
her
don't want
about
to
the
give any
situation.
for students' information out here.
Right.
Mr. President, can you clarify to the speakers that we are unable to enter into a conversation during this period?
Yeah. Could you clarify here that we're unable to enter into a conversation? We can ask questions of the speaker to clarify things, but we can't respond.
Según los reglamentos de las reuniones del Board of Trustees no pueden tener un diálogo
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sherry, and I'm here on behalf of Oscar Hernandez, who's the office manager at Oakview. He's one of the persons that meets everybody in the morning with different issues in the community, if not through himself, through me. But he wrote something because he couldn't be here tonight. On behalf of him, I'm going to read it. He couldn't be here due to religious commitments that he has in the evenings. So he says, "My name is Oscar Hernandez, the school office manager for Oakview School. During these last few weeks, I've had the opportunity to speak with many of our parents in regards to these visits they have received from representatives of Sycamore Creek Charter School. In those conversations, I have discovered that these people misrepresented themselves as parents of the community advocates, affiliates of our Family Resource Center, and in one case, as employees of Oakview School. Having gained our family's trust with this misrepresentation, Sycamore Creek Community Charter School successfully infiltrated the heart of the Oakview community. Many families reported that they were promised things such as after-school enrichment programs, a new school facility, and art and curriculum, just to name a few. Our families reported that they were then asked to sign a document, not with the intent of enrolling their children into a new school, but simply to support the creation of one. A document that they did not read or need complete themselves. They didn't fill it out. They were simply told to sign to give support. Some signed simply to receive the incentive, which was free books. Many parents expressed embarrassment and disappointment once they became aware of what they had signed. The majority of the parents that I spoke with did not intend to enroll their children in a new school at all. Some even expressed fear that with that signature, their children would not be allowed to return to Oakview the following year. It is clear that Sycamore Creek Charter School unfairly targeted our Oakview community through misrepresentation and a lack of transparency. Thank you, Oscar Hernandez, manager at Oakview School. You can sense some of the nervousness and fear in the one parent that just spoke, and the confusion that she doesn't really get it. Our parents don't really get what was presented to them. They are confused and fear that they're not enrolled next year at Oakview. I've had many come up and ask that question. As you all know, I have an office at Oak, and my door's always open, and I've spoken to many parents over the course of the last few weeks. They feel that they were tricked into signing. They feel, a lot of them feel that they targeted our Oakview community because most of them spoke Spanish. I will say that that they feel that that school won't have, the materials and be able to address the needs of our EL students that have a lot of needs to learn English and be successful in school, as the teachers at Oakview are very well trained to handle those type of students. They're concerned, will there be free lunch and free breakfast, but thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Next three speakers are Carol Ann Soltz,
Amy Green Bosanov, Crystal Hickerson.
Hi there, I'm Cheryl Ann. I just wanted to speak about some of the parents that I spoke with that had received calls from the district. I spoke to one mother, whose name was Melissa. She received 5 phone calls in one day from the district. When I spoke with her, I shared that the district was calling to verify names and that they understood what they were signing on the Prop 39 form, which is my understanding is within the scope of the questions that can be asked. She shared that she was asked a lot more than those questions,
and shared that she pays a lot of money in taxes to live in this area and shouldn't be subject to so much controversy over school choice. I then spoke to a woman named Terry, who was also asked more questions than verifying her name and the intent of signing the Prop 39 form. She felt that this was her words, but what I wrote down, she felt that she was quizzed about her knowledge of the core principles of Waldorf education and was told that Sycamore Creek wouldn't serve her daughter because it was only going up to 5th grade, which is not accurate information. I spoke to another woman who was told by the district that by signing the Prop 39 form that she was consenting to take her child out of his current school and enroll him in Sycamore Creek. From this one person, this was the message that came from the district, not from Sycamore Creek. And obviously these questions were also beyond the scope of inquiry of the name and the intent of signing. So the few people that I did speak with, I was able to offer them some empathy for receiving some kind of scary phone calls that made them feel really fearful about what their options are. I was able to give them some clarity around what the Prop 39 form was that they signed, which is what they understood, and also just help to answer some of the questions that came up when the district wasn't able to answer the questions about the grade level or that I consent to take my child out of this school. No, this is what you signed. And she was like, that's what I understood I signed, and then the message got convoluted. So just sharing from my experience of parents that I spoke with when I called them on behalf of just truth and knowledge and knowing what they signed and integrity in what they signed. Thank you.
Amy?
Superintendent, Board President, Board and Associates. I'm Amy Green-Bosnoff. I can speak to my personal knowledge as well as to some of our other associates that helped canvass. I canvassed in many areas throughout OVSD. I held park playdates, we had public events. We did go to Oakview and other schools to gather signatures, not only from our known community, but to spread the word about Waldorf, because the intent is to serve and offer Waldorf to the community. To that end, after and about November 14th, 2018, myself and others received numerous communications from parents who had signed the intent to enroll form expressing concerns regarding calls they received from district employees attempting to verify their meaningful interest. Several parents indicated that these employees made them feel uncomfortable and falsely claimed that district schools would close or that their teachers would lose their jobs or that their students would not have a place in their schools next year, which is inaccurate. In addition, many parents said that, insinuated that we hadn't offered the petition for them to read. We are aware that misinformation can be spread rapidly, and we reached out afterwards ourselves to our signers to clarify things. It can be confusing, as one of the earlier speakers noted and requested clarification. We're happy to clarify. We want to hold more meetings and clarify with the community and with you all. As we advised the district in Prop 39 request, 2 California courts recently held that the type of counter surveys that the district employees were conducting to verify expressions of interest are inconsistent with the Prop 39 implementing regulations. Stating that a parent's signature on an intent to enroll form or the charter petition will result in his or her child being disenrolled is a blatant and harmful misrepresentation of the legal effects of the parent's signatures on such documentation. Since the district calls to verify parents' meaningful interests violate the implementing regulations and cannot serve as grounds to reject the parent's signatures on the charter petition, these calls serve no purpose other than to harass prospective Sycamore families and make false claims to dissuade these meaningfully interested parents from enrolling their children. As such, Sycamore demands that the district immediately cease and desist contacting. Since this cease and desist letter was delivered to the district, we are aware of further calls being made, not necessarily by OVSD direct employees, but by school employees and other affiliates and associates continuing these calls. We're hoping that they cease or that we can work together to clarify things. We wish to do so. We want to make it a positive environment and clear up any misinformation. Thank you.
Crystal Hickerson.
Good evening. I have been teaching at UCI and I've taken several Waldorf training sessions, and I'm very interested in a public Waldorf opening up in this part of Orange County, considering the impactment over in San Juan Capistrano, where my daughter was number 65 on the waiting list for the lottery into kindergarten. So there's a lot of interested members in Orange County wanting a public Waldorf school, and I also participated in this canvassing, and I worked with all the canvassers. And I know that as a matter of practice, we explained everything on the form to people we spoke to. Yo hablo español también y hablaba con todos, que I spoke in Spanish with everyone I talked to who needed Spanish to sign the forms. And if there was any misunderstanding, it was a conversation, you know. No one represented a form and said sign here. So I'm really disheartened to find out that people feel threatened and frightened about their children's enrollment for next year. You know, our Prop 39 form is asking parents, if we can open this charter school, would you like to be a part of it? And a lot of these conversations were educational, what Waldorf stands for, what kind of arts curriculum and storytelling-based curriculum and whole child nurturing curriculum that we offer. And so if parents were interested in this and excited about this, and a lot of them were when they saw pictures, I showed them, from different Waldorf schools. They intend to enroll their student there. That's not a commitment to transfer to a school that doesn't exist yet, right? And I believe all of us were very clear about this. This doesn't exist yet, but this is something that we want to start together. So in this circumstance, I'm talking about parents around Oakview that we were educating and inviting and spreading the news about a Waldorf school possibly opening up. On the other hand, there's community members in the Oakview School District who already know about Waldorf a lot and are already heavily invested. So I just wanted to affirm that the signatures we handed in represent different communities and different levels of awareness of the kind of school that we want to open. And while some people have been attending these educational events that we've been holding, and some people happen to live here and already are Waldorf inspired, a lot of people were new to Waldorf, and so we had conversations with them. And it seems that any misunderstandings about what that form meant have been provoked by phone calls from the district that have not been very clear. Thank you.
One moment. I have a question from the board.
Yes.
Can I hear your Spanish script that you used with our Oakview parents? What is it that I'm an Oakview parent, so can you tell me how you would present it to me?
Oh, sure. I don't have the form with me here, but I might say something.
You said you speak Spanish, right? So you're going to be able to have a conversation with me. Okay, so hypothetically tell me how you would present it to me. I want to understand it.
Bueno, soy un representante de una comunidad que querría abrir una escuela que enfoque en instructar con los artes, con la música, por hacer jardines, por cocinar. Y queremos crear una escuela como un edificio nuevo en ese distrito el año que viene. Me pregunto si le interesa saber más de esa escuela y si le interesa saber cómo podría enviar su niño o su niña a esta escuela como una opción para el año que viene. Algo así.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes.
if we hear that translation in English, as my Spanish is quite limited.
Can we hear the translation, please? Sure.
Great.
Cristal Dickerson y soy una representante de una comunidad.
Excuse me, if we could switch microphones, it might be helpful. You could just tell him that he can speak. We've already heard you once. And I still don't understand.
In order to have an accurate translation, I would request to repeat again so I can interpret. Me llamo Cristal y represento a una...
In English.
Oh, sorry. My name is Cristal and I represent a community.
Una comunidad que quería abrir una escuela nueva que enfoque en principales de Waldorf.
Que desea abrir una escuela nueva. It's a community that wants to open a new school which approach would be the Waldorf system.
Usamos métodos como artes, música, cocinar, hacer jardines.
We use some methods like cooking, arts, music, and landscaping.
Creamos una escuela nueva para el año que viene, un edificio nuevo.
And we will build a new building for next year. Create a new school.
Y sería una opción para su niño o su niña para el año que viene.
This will be an alternative for your kid for the next year.
Me pregunto si le interesa saber más de esta escuela.
I was wondering if you want to know more about this school.
¿Y cómo podría enviar su niño si podemos abrirla?
How you could enroll your kid if we can open that school. Something like that.
All right, she has a question.
Can I get to the portion where you request a signature? What do you say to request a signature?
Sure. Si le gustaría enviar su niño a una escuela,
If you would like to enroll your kid to this school,
donde ofrecemos instrucción por hacer cuentos, por hacer arte y trabajar con música y crecer plantas, cosas así.
where the kids will work doing some music, art, landscaping, growing plants, things like that.
Y donde los estudiantes quedan con su maestra de grado 1 a grado 8.
Where the kids will stay with the same teacher from kinder to first grade to 8th grade? 8th grade?
Y si le interesa tener una opción así, por favor firma aquí para mostrar su interés y que quiere enviar a su niño a una escuela así, si podemos abrirla.
So please sign here if you are interested to send your kid to school like this, if we can open it.
Okay, Trustee Clinton.
Madam,
I heard you say edificio nuevo. That means to build a new building. Did you mean to say that? You said it twice.
I said crear una escuela nueva como un edificio nuevo. So create a new school, like a building, right? A new building, like a new school, it would be like a new location. It's not a program at Oakview or Sunview or any of the schools like this, right? It would be like a different location.
I think I heard you say a new building, construir, to build a new building. Is that what you said?
I don't remember I said construir, but I said crear una escuela nueva. See, that's the point. Un edificio nuevo. You know, if they had a question, like, are we building, like, constructing a new building, I'd be happy to talk about that. But I'm not trying to misrepresent, like, a brand new flashy school. It's not going to be a program at the school you're at. It's like a different school location, right? It's a different school, a new school.
So to our translator, did I hear what I heard properly?
Yes, yes.
I did hear that. I think I heard a parent at the microphone also earlier say that they heard that there would be a new building, a new school built.
If Sycamore is approved, will we not be in a building?
Are you going to build a new school?
No, we're not building a new school. I don't believe the district provides a location, right?
I think I heard you say construir. That means to build.
I'm sorry, I don't remember if I said construir.
Okay. Thank you.
But again, if there's questions, it was a conversation, right? So I could clarify for sure.
I just have one quick question. Were you one of the people that canvassed in the Oakview area?
I don't know if I canvassed at Oakview specifically, because I canvassed a lot.
Well, you were a canvasser in the
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That's the role I want to speak from, right, as a canvasser.
Okay. More questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Any other speakers? Trustee Clayton?
Not from this group.
Okay, then we will now go into closed session. Oh, sorry.
Let me clarify.
Okay.
So the majority of the cards were turned in after the beginning of, at the time that should have been, and they would then be speaking in H1. Okay?
They also have the opportunity to speak in G, public comments, if they would like.
Yes, you can speak in G, public comments, or at the agenda item in H1, so you have two opportunities.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you. We will now go into closed session at 6:33.